It was a rare moment never seen over 17 years of conflict in Afghanistan. Taliban militants embracing government troops and ordinary people on the Muslim holiday of al-Fitr, which marks the end of the fasting month of Ramadan. This came after the government of President Ashraf Ghani announced an 8-day ceasefire with the group on the occasion of the Eid. The ceasefire created mixed feelings among Afghans. Some were hopeful that a lasting cessation of hostility would be eventually created with the militants. To agree on is the fact that the Afghans are tired of an insurgency war that has claimed the lives of thousands and kept the country in a state of instability for almost 2 decades now.
Well, on each of all of the many partners or antagonists in this conflict, they're each having their own contradictions. The government has been reaching out to the Taliban. Both the Taliban and the government feel threatened by the Takfiris who are moving over from Iraq and Syria into Afghanistan. And it's quite clear that most of the people are feeling very war weary. The exuberance with which the truce was greeted is going to be difficult to sort of put back in the bottle.
An important group that was exempted from the al-Fitr ceasefire plan was Daesh, that has intensified its terrorist attacks in Afghanistan lately. This clearly shows how the Afghan government is trying to drive a wedge between the Taliban and Daesh, which is globally considered as one of the most violent forms of religious extremism. The terrorist group did not spare the Afghan people, even on a day which is respected as a day of peace by all Muslims. They attacked a gathering of the Taliban and the Afghans. Many believe this and other similar attacks are already presenting Daesh as the common enemy of the Taliban and the Afghan people.
There are many elements about the Taliban that make them more of a Pashtun nationalist group, or a Pashtun regionalist group, than they are actually an Islamic, an ideological Islamic group. So they are, I suspect, going to accommodate this. They will join in attacks on Daesh, especially after the horrendous bombing, because that's something that is something almost new in Afghanistan, because the idea that the Taliban would be the victims of a suicide bombing must be quite frightening for them. And certainly it doesn't do much for their reputation amongst their supporters.
One important party watching the course of developments between the Taliban and the Afghan government is the United States. The US started the Afghan war in 2001 to unseat the Taliban, and its military presence in Afghanistan is all about fighting the same group. It is not clear how it would react to the prospects of peace between the militants and the government.
This administration, first of all, doesn't care very much what's going to happen in Afghanistan. Yes, it's anti-Muslim in a general sort of way, but it's not in a focused way, and I'm not quite sure that Donald Trump can tell the difference between a normal, a sort of mainstream Muslim and the Taliban. And in fact, there isn't that much difference, because the Taliban is as much a Pashtun nationalist movement as it is an Islamic movement now. So I don't think the US has really got too much of a dog in this fight. And if it manages, if it gives Trump the excuse to declare victory and pull the last troops out, that will make him very happy, I'm sure.
The short peace agreement between the Taliban and the government could be a step forward toward ambitions to solidify instability in Afghanistan. But it may still be too soon to anticipate how this would proceed. What is clear from the current signs on the ground is that an end to an insurgency war in the country is something which appears to have many supporters on both sides.